Christina, and that's why he decided to murder her. Robinson was charged with first-degree murder.
And he weighed 144 pounds. You would expect that if he was struck by a car, he would end up on the hood of the car, striking the windshield, and then roll off the side.
Also, it looked as if the impact literally knocked the victim's coat off his body. Suhaka said this could not be the natural result of an accident.
How does the coat come off? It did not make sense. Also, there was a watch with just a watch face with no straps. That didn't make sense at all. We never found the straps.
But most telling was the blood found in the tire tracks behind the car. If Frankie had been hit by the front of the car and lodged underneath, his blood wouldn't be behind the rear tires. And Mr. Suhaka found blood spatter on the windshield inside the car and blood drops on the inside trim of the passenger side door. Obviously, there wouldn't be blood inside a car from a collision outside.
It was one of my suggestions that we need to exhume the body to find out what the actual injuries were.
Since the death had officially been declared an accident, it took more than 3 years of legal wrangling to get permission for the exhumation. It was conducted by Dr. Geeta Natarajan, a pathologist with the state coroner's office.
The first thing I noticed is the level of preservation and the condition of the body being fair. The second most important finding was that the external body surface failed to show any injury. There were no bruises, there were no brush burn like he was dragged by a vehicle.
Dr. Natarajan discovered 4 linear fractures along the back of the skull. One, a depressed circular fracture, was not noted in the first autopsy.
During the first autopsy, nor do I believe that an autopsy or an examination of a full examination of the skull was ever done during the first autopsy.
There were also no broken limbs, virtually unheard of when a pedestrian is hit by a car. So Dr. Natarajan changed the official manner of death from accident to homicide. But how were these injuries overlooked in the first autopsy?
The medical examiner who did the autopsy, who issued the initial death certificate, was not a forensic pathologist. He was not even a pathologist. He was a general practitioner. He did what best he could do under the circumstance, but he was not.
Of the vehicle provided evidence of where Frankie was killed.
When I started reading the reports, they said there was blood inside the car. I had to read the report twice. It just didn't make sense. Turned out there was spatter from blood on the inside windshield and on the dashboard.
Serology test identified the blood in the car as type O, the same blood type as Frankie Pullian. Now suspicious, investigators dug a little deeper into Frankie's background. For a man making less than $10,000 a year, Frankie had 9 separate insurance policies on his life, with a total payout of nearly $1 million.
It's very unusual that you would take out almost $1 million worth of insurance, and then within a few short months, someone should die. I mean, to me, that raises a flag automatically.
I thought I was out there somewhere, and I was hoping that I would get a call from her any day, any minute. No call came.
Investigators found 5 shell casings at the end of the exit ramp, and another about 200 feet away.
Our forensic people were able to tell us that it most likely was an AK-47 type rifle, an assault rifle.
Knowing that Megan had been assaulted with this AK-47, again, just sent chills of agony through my mind.
Investigators also noticed a fresh scrape along the driver's side of the car. It looked as if Megan's car had been sideswiped. Then, investigators got a huge break. They learned that Megan's rental car was one of the first to be equipped with an event data recorder. The event data recorder is a huge step forward. Investigators also searched Sanchez's truck for blood.
When the tech put luminol on the inside of the vehicle, it lit up like a Christmas tree.
DNA testing revealed blood on the passenger seat was Megan's.
There was a horizontal apparent
blood stain right in the area where Megan's wound was to her side.
indicating that she had been sitting upright in the passenger seat of that truck at one point. So she wasn't dead, she was sitting.
Forensic tests on the scrape mark on the side of Megan's car matched the paint from Sanchez's truck. Investigators
test fired the AK-47 and compared the bullets to fragments found with Megan's body.
We tied that rifle to the crime scene and to the body, both with the fragments that were taken from the car, from the crime scene. Certainly that helped to tie the rifle in to Mr. Sanchez, and Mr. Sanchez then to the crime scene.
Then police discovered
that Sanchez's real target that night wasn't Megan Barroso at all,
but someone else.
A better banking app is right at your fingertips. Download Dave, and you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less, right through your phone. There's no interest, no credit checks, and no late fees. Because getting help shouldn't set you back. Switch to the banking app made for you, and you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. Download the Dave app now, or go to dave.com today.
Called Brian's ex-wife.
We learned from her that he was fascinated with fire and would frequently dabble with pyrotechnics, so to speak.
She also told Peebles that the home they owned together mysteriously burned to the ground.
Before the house burned down, he insisted that she go over to her parents and take the dog with her. She recalled that she didn't want to go spend the night at her parents' house on this night.
Brian's ex-wife said the fire resulted in a substantial insurance settlement, and even she believed her ex-husband started it.
Prior to the fire, he had already rented an apartment that his ex-wife did not know he had put into his name.
Brian's car was also destroyed in that fire. It too was insured. Strangely, the car's tires were a special model and valuable. Miraculously, they survived.
He removed the tires from his car and placed them far enough away from the house where they wouldn't be destroyed when the house burned down.
Although this was certainly suspicious, it wasn't proof that Bryant had anything to do with Ann Haynes' murder.
And he had a lot of friends and a lot of support. You know, they just insisted that there's no way he could have done this crime because he'd never been in trouble before.
And investigators also discovered Bryant had firefighter training. He was on the fire brigade at the manufacturing plant where he worked.
His training from the fire brigade, which would have taught him how to do, you know, what a delayed ignition device was, how to set fires, how arsonists work, what to look for in an arson.
Throughout the investigation, Bryant had willingly answered all questions by police, but when the questioning got more intense, he stopped cooperating.
And at some point, he was asked to submit to a polygraph examination, which he originally agreed to do, but prior to the scheduling of that examination, he backed out.
So investigators had no evidence linking Bryant to the crime.
Got away with it once, he thought he'd get away with it again.
With very little evidence against Michael Bryant for the murder of Ann Haynes, investigators got a warrant to search his home. They seized his computer and analyzed his hard drive. On it was a wealth of information.
When his computer was seized, we were able to see that in the days prior to the scheduled polygraph that he didn't take, he was looking at websites on how to beat a polygraph. And then he didn't take the polygraph.
They also searched